Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm going to start with a blessing. Holy wind, whistle through me. Holy wind, whistle through me. Holy wind, whistle through me. Been a long time since you had a pipe for this music. Listen, 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 listen. I want to express my gratitude for all of the ancestors, known and unknown to me, who have come before me, who have made all things possible so that I might be here in this moment with you, right here, right now. What an incredible gift and honor to spend this time together in presence, in practicing of presence and beingness. I want to pay my respect and my gratitude to the Lenape people whose land I sit in and sit on right now, and also to all the ancestors who have shepherded and stewarded and cared for and guided all the lands that you find yourself on in this moment. And I want to honor my teachers, whose names are too many to share in this moment, but to say that I am because of them. So this meditation, this sit is about listening. The invitation is to listening. But what are we listening to, and what are we listening for? So I'm in love with sound. I'm in love with particularly the sound of voice, the sound of human expression. And I've spent my life studying it, practicing it, sharing it, guiding it. I love that sound is an act of creation. I get to participate. I get to experience the divine inside of me when I take a breath and I put sound into the world. It's an act of creation and holiness every time. Whether I'm singing, whether I'm crying, whether I'm laughing, whether I'm speaking. It has a power to transform us and those around us. It has the power to reveal, to express, to share, to heal. Sound is vibration in us, quite literally, and the act of making it moves our bodies, and we are different afterwards. So in the silence, in the space that follows sound, what is there for us once we have been moved, once we have taken a risk, once we have stepped in, once we have opened ourselves more? For the last year, I've been studying the exquisite book Kohenet and Rabbi Jill Hammer's book, Return to the Place. The meditation, is about meditation and practice of the Sefer Yetzirah, which is translated in English to the Book of Creation. And one of the words that is used over and over is the word blima. Blima is two words together, bli, which means without, and ma, which means what. Without what? Blima. It's often translated in English to the void or emptiness or nothingness. But because I love sound and I love listening to words, there's another word, blima, which is spelled differently, and it's a name, a name for a person, and that word means opening or blossoming, as in a flower. So we have this word blima that both means without what, or the nothingness, or the emptiness, and the blossoming. This is the invitation. We're going to practice with a little bit of sound and making it. And then we're going to listen. We're going to sit with the without what and the blossoming as an invitation to what is here for you now. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to invite you in to make some sound. Now, many people have lots of relationships with sound. We're all in our own spaces, and you get to make whatever sound you want right now. There's no judgment. If you can, let that go. Let how you feel about your voice go, and just open to what wants to come. And just notice it. That's all that we're doing today. So I'm going to give some guidance for that. Singing and making sound is a whole body experience. So first we want to really welcome and prepare our bodies. So if you will, where you are right now, just attend to the body. Maybe some stretching or some moving or additional kind of settling. Just see what your body needs right now and respond. I know I need a little bit of stretching. I had a harder night of sleep last night and my body wants to move. But yours might want to settle and still more deeply. And with this settling and listening, allowing yourself to notice your breath. Notice how it moves in you. You can even find a way to still yourself if you've been moving. And start to tune into the inhale and the exhale of breath. And with each inhale, see if you can drop your breath deeper, diaphragmatically, and allowing the chest to just lie very neutral and very easeful as your belly expands with each inhale and returns to its shape in exhale. You can breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. You can start to put a little sound on that exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. And now even a little more sound, a little sigh. So good to hear our voices. Inhaling, and open your mouth wide. Feel that full range, the vibration moving through your body. And again, And now I'm going to give us a little bit of sound and a little bit of practice making some tones that will move us into our space of blima for this sit. So we'll practice this for a little while. You can keep sighing. You can start just by listening. If sound doesn't want to come, that's also a response. You can do what I'm doing, or you can do whatever you want in relationship to it. So here's how it's going to go. Ooh, you're going to take a breath and make an ooh, and take another breath, and we're going to go down. Ooh. Take a breath. Ooh. And another breath. Ooh. This is our pattern we're going to be on. Ooh. Ooh. Waking up our voices. Ooh. Tuning into your intention for the day. Ooh. Bring it forward with sound. Ooh. 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 Beyond words, just sound. Ooh. 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 Try another vowel if you want to. E. Ah. Go high in your voice if you want. Ah. 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 Keep it simple, or lots of notes revealed if you want. Ooh. Ah. Ah. We're gonna go around a couple more times, and then it will be into the Blima. Deep breaths. have heard what you needed to hear or felt what you needed to feel. May you be open and attuned in deeper ways, just as you are. Thank you so much for this sit with you.
Thank you so much, Rebekka. Really beautiful, and looking forward to exploring that practice with you in a little bit, in a few moments. Friends, we seal our practice as we do every day by offering those who are in mourning or observing a yard site. If it's your custom to participate in Kaddish, to do so. And if you'd like to add the name or names of anyone you're remembering today, honoring today in the chat box, either now or after we recite the Kaddish, that is lovely. And for those who are not reciting the Kaddish, to remain present, to be a compassionate, supportive presence for those who are invited to join me by rising in body and spirit to recite the words of Kaddish together. Gadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Yamad Ivra Chibutei V'yamlich Malchutei V'chayechon V'yamechon V'yeh B'chol Beit Yisrael V'agala B'zman Karib V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Barak Le'olam Amen. Yitzrach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal v'yikudshah v'yichu le'ela mikol birchata b'shirata v'shbechata v'nechamata ta'miran v'ilman v'yiru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba nim shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom v'yamav, shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'kol Yoshei Israel v'yimru. Amen. Friends, thanks for joining us today. We thank Cheryl Shapiro for so generously sponsoring our practice today. Thank you, Cheryl. Thanks to Adi Stein, as always, for holding our tech sanctuary, our Mishkan, with grace and skill. Thanks to our teacher for today, Rebekka Goldsmith, for leading us so beautifully and for engaging us through voice and through sound in mindfulness practice. Looking forward, those who are able, would like to, are welcome to stay on to engage in conversation with Rebekka about the practice, or just reflect on your experience today. For those who are leaving us, we hope you join us tomorrow. Mira Nicolescu will lead us in practice tomorrow from Israel. And on Friday, we'll be led by Oded Shazifi, who will be leading us for the first time, helping us sit into Shabbat on Friday. So thanks for joining us. If you're leaving us, be well. We'll hope to see you tomorrow or soon. And Rebekka, thank you so much. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat box. A lot of nice appreciation in the chat box. So Rebekka, I'd like to just kind of briefly review the teaching and get some clarity on what you were offering, and then just reflect on that experience. So, I heard you say that, first of all, that sound is the generating of sound through vibration is in our tradition an act of creation, a way of being attuned to creation. And I really appreciate it. I was thinking, we had an IJS Shabbaton over the weekend, and was thinking about resonance and about experiencing music and the generation of music externally as resonating with instruments within. But what I appreciated today was the inner generation of sound and vibration resonating out. So actually, my first question for you is about that, and maybe you could speak personally about this a little bit, about what's the connection between listening to music and experiencing and absorbing vibration from without, and the beauty of that, and being aware of what's going on in our inner life. And that's I think that's maybe one way we can understand the practice, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
to sit and listen to music as a, I don't know, spectator audience, but being an active participant in the generating of music. So as somebody who, has expertise in this, I just feel like there are these different categories. There's listening to music, there's generating music, there's
Mm-hmm.
generating music as part of a larger group, right? So what would you say about those?
I mean,
That's
how long do we
probably that's
have?
15. Yeah, right. That's sorry. The big
um,
question. But I'm really curious. So we'll have to have you back so we can unpack this. So just take a little piece for now, and I'll keep an eye on
yeah.
that chat box.
I mean, I think it's a very individual thing, so I will only speak for myself, but you know, I first of all, I love listening to music. It is
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite things. I can be very, very moved and touched, and I can go on all kinds of adventures, both visually and experiential, like in my body too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that, but and I actually think they're connected as I'm thinking about this. Um, when you make sound yourself,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that happens, but first of all, just physically, the act of doing it does actually it does vibrate the water in our body, and all, we're made up of so much water,
Right.
and some of our organs are made up of 85 and 90% water. So that
Mm-hmm.
vibration that we create by actually making the sound really does shift things in our body. So we get a physical experience of sound,
Mm-hmm.
which is different than listening to it. But I think they're connected
Yes.
um, um, because it's an act of, and they can be very distinct too. Like if you listen to music and you sort of do it like, not I'm doing this, but like
Mm-hmm.
almost like what you said was, which is to watch it, to observe
Mm-hmm.
it,
Right.
you remove yourself from the experience.
Right.
There's another way of listening, which is like this: I'm taking it in, I'm
Mm-hmm.
letting it go out, I'm letting it move me. And
Mm-hmm.
that, I think, is where the connection comes in with actually, it's a deeper level of letting sound move me by making
Right.
it myself. But the first step is to allow ourselves to be in the experience and to realize that we're not passive, we're active. And the action that's like a kavanah, an intention. When
Right.
we set an intention, we participate in the experience, we show up in the world, and we show up in whatever is happening. And so to allow ourselves to experience sound listening, and being a participant in it, starts to necessarily move that through us. And then the
Mm-hmm.
next level is to actually make the sound and be moved inside of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's like a beginning short answer.
That's great. That's really great. I want to get to the, the silence and the
Yes.
relationship between the creation of sound and silence. I'm reading a lot of nice comments about how comfortable people felt with their
Mm.
voice and singing with you. Um, I guess I'd like to kind of highlight is the idea of sound being a sacred medium, right? A spiritual practice. There are many people for whom music is an important activity, and something that transforms and changes and impacts us in a very way. But not a lot of people always think about that as a spiritual experience, whether
Mm.
it's being at a concert, or listening to it, or listening to it in the car, or singing along. But the way you're describing it, I just want to lift that up. I think it's very powerful
Mm-hmm.
that the very creation of vibrations and movement connects us with the dynamic movement and vibration of the field in which we're living, right? And attunes us to that vibration that's going on. In Jewish tradition, might be called the kol daka, the still
Amen.
small voice, right?
Yes.
The voice from Sinai, which is always transmitting, basically, if we tune in, and that we
Yes.
can attune ourselves to that through sound, which leads me into the question about silence. Like, and again, too, I want to invite you to speak personally about like what
Mm.
happens for you when you go from that creation of the sound into sitting for the 10 minutes that we just sat in silence.
Well,
Do
it
you feel
depends on
that? I
where
guess,
where yeah.
yeah. Let me just be towards like, do you like for myself, I would say I feel like, wow, I can feel, the lingering vibrations of what was generated, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kind of subsiding until down to stillness.
Yeah.
But what I'm wondering is whether I might also look for, it's actually not subsiding, that it's actually cluing me in to I'm living in that field of vibration of
That's right.
aliveness,
That's right.
which is different than, oh, it's settling down. So
Yep. That's
that's my
right.
take.
It elevates us. It elevates. That's my experience too.
Mm-hmm,
There in our tradition there is this idea that the whole purpose of making sound and singing is to get to the silence, because it's
mm-hmm,
in the silence that
mm-hmm,
all the gifts emerge. And I have felt that for a long time. I was delighted to find that in the Jewish tradition that described, because when I stop, everything lands. It's like that's otherwise it just sound, and the sound cuts through things, but the
mm-hmm,
silence helps things settle. And I don't mean settle like we relax. I mean I'm now attuned in a wider way. I'm
mm-hmm,
attuned in a deeper way, in a loftier way. I'm rounder. I'm more
mm-hmm,
dimensional. And that means that I hear things more. It means I feel things more. It means I see you more clearly. It means I see and understand myself. It means that there are blessings that can come through. It means that I'm deeper and more connected. You talk about aliveness. That is my whole reason for singing and making
mm-hmm,
sound and
mm-hmm,
being in the silence afterwards, is to attune more deeply to life.
mm-hmm.
So this idea of this as a spiritual practice for me is not to transcend the earthly world that we live in, but to bring deeper healing and growth and deeper awareness, so that as I engage in this world that needs me, that needs you, that needs all of us showing up in our aliveness, in our connection to one another so deeply, to see and to value our humanity, to value the natural beings and the natural world that is just beyond, that we are part of.
Mm-hmm.
um, it needs us. And so this practice for me is a spiritual practice of attuning, so that I can be more connected in this lifetime.
Right,
And that I get from sound. I get that inside of sound. And then the silence that comes afterwards. Or
right.
yeah.
I was
And it's
thinking,
it's actually, the interesting thing is not silence and sound. Those aren't the opposites to me, or the relationship.
right.
It's sound and listening.
Hmm.
Those are the relations. And like, how deeply can I listen? How deeply can I, and what am I listening for, and what am I listening to? Um,
I really appreciate that, because I think a lot of times we people um, conflate meditation with silence, the absence of sound.
mhm.
And this both adds dimension, and also is an important reminder that the end is not silence. It is to be like exactly as you're saying, to be aware of this field of aliveness, to
Mhm.
recognize our engagement in it. And it's interesting, there was at least one comment that was beautiful. Um, yeah, by the way, this is excellent. Thanks. It's a great lead into Rabbi Shefa Gold's program that we're offering. Because I would love to have Shefa be part of this conversation. I'd be really interested to hear what she would say. But you didn't sing to us and listen to us, invite us to listen to the vibrations of the guitar resonating, or your voice. You invited people to speak, and there was at least one comment from somebody who said, well, there were several of people who said, like, I've always worried about my vocal quality and I wasn't worried about it. Or I found like I found my voice in some way. So maybe say a few words about that, and by way also of saying maybe a few words about, the work that you do.
I mean, that is it makes me so tender to hear that something so simple, right? This is so simple, but it's not easy. Can the
Mm-hmm.
space between where you feel like you are and what you can do, it can sometimes feel like a desert between, like whatever the word is, however you want to describe that. But it can be a very simple practice of just engaging. And it's very I think I hear so often from people when I talk about what I do, I mostly hear the stories of pain around
Hmm.
voice. And it's right
Hmm.
here. Our voice is right here. It's in the core of us. And most people feel so disconnected from their voices. And so my work in the world is really helping to support people to return to their voices, to expand what they feel, to expand their expression. And when I say voice, I use the practical tool of the voice, and I'm very I'm very not concerned, but focused on how to support easy stepping in,
Hmm.
because I want people to feel like we all have access to our voices. They're here to express. They're here, and we can actually do much more than we think we can. But because singing and music is professionalized, it becomes this thing of, if I don't sound like that, I can't do it. But guess what? We've been singing forever. We've been making sound forever. So I want us to bring that ease and that comfort and that click that
Yeah.
back in.
Yeah.
It does, you sound like you. I sound like me. Let's be together. We are so much more than we think we are, and we are so much more together than we think we can be. And that is the healing. That's the tikkun of sound to me, is that we have much more that's available to us. So um yes, I'm like lost in this thought, because I'm it's really where my focus is on really saying yes, it's possible. And it's not just possible, it's sacred, it's holy, it's ours,
Hmm.
and it's ours to share with one another.
Um, I'm going to give you a heads up. There are some requests, and I also always like, if we can, to go out with a little with some singing. So maybe we could reprise that a little bit. I'm going to put those who are interested in learning more about what Rebekka offers, putting the website in the chat box. And I want to give a shout out to Judy Shermer, who introduced me to you, Rebekka, and feeling a lot of gratitude to you, Judy, for doing so, and introducing Rebekka to everyone here today. And Rebekka, it would be wonderful to have you back if your
Thank you.
schedule allows. Why don't you take us out? That
Let's
vibration, beautiful
I'm
vibration and
Yeah,
attunement.
and just an invitation for everybody to be in this with me. So let's just be in I will just do the listen. We'll just
Mm-hmm.
kind of sing listen over and over again, and you can listen or you can sing it. Listen, 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 you're on the same note and then you go down. Listen, one more time. Listen, sing it out. Listen very quietly now. Listen. Just breath. Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you to Cheryl for today's sponsorship.
Yes, thank you, Cheryl. Thanks, Rebekka. Most of all, thanks everyone for being here. Hope to see you tomorrow to practice with Mira Nicolescu. Blessings to everyone.